Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. My wife says I always adjust my glasses. I guess I do. They actually don't slide too much. Anyway, not that you even care, right? You're here to learn something about wine. So this will be my last episode on Thanksgiving wines. I did Pinot Noir, orange wine, and now I'm doing Sauvignon Blanc because over the past few years that seems to be the wine that a lot of people are gravitating towards. You read a lot of periodicals, a lot of psalms will say, let's go to Sauvignon Blanc for a choice for wines to pair with Thanksgiving. I think it's a great choice, good acidity. I'm very picky about Sauvignon Blanc. I always have been. In fact, a friend of mine came by and he was asking about a particular Sauvignon Blanc that I carry on the shelf, and he said, do you like it? And I said, no. He said, why do you carry it? I said, because in the summertime we sell about a case a week of it. Why wouldn't I carry it? Now, so in my department I have to carry some Sauvignon Blancs just because people like them. And you would not be a good wine steward if you didn't carry wines that people liked. If you just carried the wines you like, I wouldn't be as successful as our department wouldn't be as successful as it is. So I do carry wines that I don't necessarily gravitate towards, but these three that I picked out for this episode, I actually know them, I like them, so I'm going to share them with you. And yes, they make a good complement to a Thanksgiving meal. One thing about Sauvignon Blanc is a little fun fact. If you do serve Sauvignon Blanc at your meal, you can say, hey, did you know that Sauvignon Blanc is one of the parents to a red wine? Which red wine is that? It's Cabernet Sauvignon. The parents of Cabernet Sauvignon are Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc. It's kind of cool. So it's actually a parent of one of the biggest selling wines, red wines in the world, Cabernet Sauvignon. So let's get started right away with the Walla Walla Vintners Sauvignon Blanc 2024 from Columbia Valley. It rolls in at King's Market, it rolls in at $15. I buy it by the case and I drop the price. Pass it on to the customer. Isn't that what we're supposed to do, right? Let's give it a little rinse here. So Sauvignon Blanc, not high in tannins. You don't want heavy tannin wines with, we talked about that in the orange wine episode. That orange wine does have some tannins to it, but not all that much. And same with Sauvignon Blanc. But fresh acidity, I would avoid, personally, this is a personal thing, New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, you may love it, but boy, some of the flavors are so pungent with New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. If you like grapefruit with your turkey, then go ahead. Like I said, I've always said this, if you want to drink a wine for Thanksgiving, drink it. Don't worry about what I say or that psalm says or that periodic. Don't worry about that. If you like Chardonnay and you want to drink it with your turkey, go ahead. If you like Cabernet Sauvignon, you want to do it with your turkey, go ahead. I'm just here to give you some suggestions. You can do them or not. I would say it's no sweat off my back, but if you want to try something different, then I'm giving you some ideas. That's all it's about. So Sauvignon Blanc usually doesn't have heavy color unless they use wood. In fact, the one that we were talking about earlier that I don't like is an oat Sauvignon Blanc, and I'm sorry, but those just don't excite me very much. It's very clear. Just a little bit of a golden color to it, but yeah, pretty much very clear. Derek Vipon is a winemaker, great guy, good friend actually. So it's always tough to review wines of your friends, but I always try to be as honest as possible. What do we get on the nose? I should say I always try to be honest. Period. Honest as possible kind of gives you a little way out. Just honesty. Just a slight, there's grassiness on this one, which is not very uncommon with Sauvignon Blanc. A little bit of bubble gum. I would say just very slight bubble gum, very slight. Grass and apple. Maybe just a hint of grapefruit pith. And we're not talking New Zealand grapefruit, that's big time grapefruit. We're talking slight grapefruit on the nose. maybe just a little bit of an orange component coming through too. Let's see what we get on the palate. Now this has nice fruit on it. A little tropical fruit notes on this, which I didn't get on the nose. Maybe missed that. Yeah, maybe there's maybe there's a little bit of mango there. So this is kind of a mango, well, just a kiss of grassiness to this one. A little bit of grapefruit pith, apple components coming through, and just a hint of orange underneath. So you get this kind of mango, passion fruit, maybe a little passion fruit as well. I'm going to stick with mango though. Grapefruit pith, a little bit of grass, and a little bit of apple. I think that tropical fruit notes would definitely make it fit with the Thanksgiving meal. I like the fresh acidity, so that would cut through any of the fattiness. There's a lot of heavier dishes with the Thanksgiving meal. I think this would work really well. And I'm going to go straight up B+, A- on that. Great Sauvignon Blanc, especially for $15. Let's move on to the, another one that this might be one of my favorites in Washington State. This is the Alexander Nicole A Squared Sauvignon Blanc 2024 Horse Heaven Hills, Washington. This rolls in at $18. I met the winemaker. I just, for some reason, can't remember his name. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. I did not. But once again, Horse Heaven Hills, big appellation in Washington State. Columbia Valley is the biggest. It kind of encompasses all of the appellations in Washington State. And the reason they do that is that, you know, Derek might grab some from Yakima, might grab some from Horse Heaven Hills, so he just puts Columbia Valley on there. He's not specific, and then he doesn't have to change his label if he switches to a different AVA. So this one is Horse Heaven Hills, and actually I believe that Alexander Nicole has a really beautiful winery up on the hills above the Columbia River. It's on the edge of the Horse Heaven Hills AVA. Let's see what we get. Again, very clear. I'm not getting a whiteboard. You can see through that baby, which you should be able to, a Sauvignon Blanc. See what we get on those. This is big time apple and melon. I don't get any grapefruit pith at all. Even some white flower notes, just barely. Yeah, let's see what we get on the palate. Yeah. Always nice to retry these at some point because this has really nice intensity on the palate, good acidity. The apple, melon notes come through, maybe just a hint of lemon underneath, that kind of citrus note that lingers underneath, kind of the underbelly of it, and on the finish, comes through on the finish. Has just a little tingle on the tongue, which is not off-putting at all. I'm not saying that's bad, but boy, it hits the palate hard. Good, fresh acidity, nice balance, nicely integrated. All the components come through. It's a solid Sauvignon Blanc, and hardly what, you know, we often use it. We hear that term porch pounder. This would not be a porch pounder. It's too serious. Actually, both of them are. You know, if you just sat there and quaffed this wine, you have to have food with it. You have to have food with this. And this is what I like about Sauvignon Blanc. If made correctly, food is a big part of Sauvignon Blanc. I'm going to go B+ on that one. Very solid wine. Let's move on. So from California, Duckhorn Decoy Sauvignon Blanc 2024. This rolls in at $19. Just says California on it, so they can source the fruit from anywhere in California, which is interesting because California, Duckhorn has quite a few vineyards, so They might source their Sauvignon Blanc from somewhere outside their vineyard, so they just put California on it. They're based out of Napa Valley. If it was Napa Valley, you wouldn't get it for $20, at least not in most cases. Again, very clear. Slight golden hay color. Yeah. Let's see what we get on the nose. This one has apple as well. I'm getting some passion fruit, apricot notes on this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice fresh acidity. It's very fresh. Now, this has mango, papaya, passion fruit, a little bit of apple. Pretty incredible Sauvignon Blanc. I remember when I tried this, I go, wow, this is really good. Now, the interesting thing about this, some Sauvignon Blancs can get very austere. You go to Sancerre, you do get some, more stringent Sauvignon Blancs, which is what Sancerre is. But I like, because it comes from California, sometimes California Sauvignon Blancs can get a little bit flabby. But this one is not. Very fresh, with those nice tropical fruit notes, nicely integrated with the acidity. I think this would be a beauty with the Thanksgiving. I'm going to go B+, A- with that one as well. So there's 3 Sauvignon Blancs. They're all under 20 bucks. That would match nicely with Thanksgiving. So, like I said, do whatever you want. Do what you like. If you don't like Sauvignon Blanc, don't do it. If you don't like orange wine, don't do it. If you don't like Pinot Noir, don't do it. Do whatever you like. But we're here to just give you some suggestions. So if you want to use them, use them. If not, it's okay. Really. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. Please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to keep seeing some of these episodes. Not only do I give a little lesson about the wine, I really do want to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I want you to spend your money and feel like you got the best for your money. That's important, especially with all those wines out there. Sometimes you just wonder, is this worth it? And I want it to be worth it for you. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.